Hello again. Had a kind of a funny thought. I was watching the World Cup today, and I'm not a sports guy. I like to just understand the rule set. I mean, I grew up playing baseball, but get understanding the rule set and kind of apply strategy based on that. Well, basically, it's like I don't get attached to the players. Like I never really know any of the players, but I can get into a game. Just you see what they're doing, and based on the rules, you can figure out like, oh, okay, this is why they did that or whatever. Um, that shows my strange love of sports. Um, anyways, I've just kind of like popped in my head, the my example with baseball, and it's your most advantage to just not have the ball. You always want to getting rid of it. So, um, kind of given with that, same thing with the cooperative currency that I've mentioned. Your most advantage to always be spending. It's the only way you get recognition is if you're doing healthy circulation, spending, spending, spending. So with baseball, you've heard of that whole like the movie Moneyball and the math behind that, um, and it still follows the same principle. You're most advantaged in baseball on the offense to be getting on base as much as possible. Doesn't you don't need to have you know clear, articulate, high high risk shots. Like home runs or just always knocking the bejesus out of the ball. You just if you can get on base, you're a lot more advantaged. So walks, single hits, and all that fun stuff. Single hits, single base, whatever. So with that in mind, you know, if baseball is more of a spender's sport, and any of the other competitive ones where the ball is the offense, represents offense. So the more you hold it, more to aim and take those high risk shots, you're rewarded. You're rewarded in kind. So like with soccer, see now I actually finally understand why it's kind of enjoyable, why it's enjoyable to watch it. That and basketball, um, because in both of those sports, soccer and basketball, you are most advantaged when you are highly cooperative. With assists, like getting that ball spent, shot around, and the most advantageous position, and then someone like lining up, just take that shot, snipe it right in there, get that kill shot. Um, and so you get like a lot like the best of the world, best of both of the worlds. Um, and you generally, if you have, say, you have a team, two teams where one is like really dependent on one player, and they're in kind of like it's kind of like a pyramid where you have one like all your strength and power and competitiveness in one player, and the rest is just like maybe a little bit here and there. You're you're weaker. If you just focus on that competitiveness, you're always gonna score less. Um, Whereas, because you're gonna score less because you're gonna miss more of your high risk shots. Um, because with that assist, that you're able to better articulate, better, you know, get better aim a lot faster, a lot easier. I don't know. Anyway, that's my thought on that. So kind of when we're comparing, a spender strategy versus a competitor strategy. So in a competitor, strategy, competition, wise, everything is a prize. So you do work and you're rewarded, rewarded for it. So, and then with the cooperative one, obviously you're rewarded with sharing, or spending. You're rewarded because in a way because you have both sides are not in any kind of like not in a competitive situation. There's no, there's a little bit in terms of like, you're gonna always have some kind of like, well, I'm willing to do this or I'm not willing to do this. That's the competition in a cooperative system. Am I comfortable with accepting this transaction or these terms? So it's not It's less of a, you're going to meet you know, meet this criteria to win the prize. Or kind of what the point I'm trying to get to is like food. Food should not be a prize. You shouldn't have to like compete to get food. Now, you should have to, compete in negotiation. Who's comfortable with what. Um, but these are all low risk. Where this is going to be really strong are like a lot of the low risk, rapid transactions, similar to how, baseball and your most advantage to just like get more on bases or more guys on base. Then you have a higher probability of scoring. Getting those competitive sniper attacks to get reward. Those are those. And where those are like the commodities that are more rare that are highly desired, like say, luxury cars, luxury homes, any really fancy food, or even really simple food just done extremely well. Maybe there's a little extra, flair that just like we can't compete with the demand, so then we can just up the ante because it's highly desired. Um, but like food should not ever be a prize. Living, having a place to live should never be a prize. Now, the property, on the other hand, that's a prize. But that's big game. You get it, and see, even in this, the cooperative and competitive currency, all this cooperation with those that are able to take out like these big, big prizes like real estate. They trade, in the cooperative system. They gain trust and value that score where you can issue against that into a competitive currency for those certain things like property or luxury goods, or basically where there is a high demand at low supply, where you can then spend this currency that is it has a holding value because it's been built up from the healthy circulation, like this cooperative currency. Um, by the way, I'm really excited to build this. I finally finished like the last piece. It was like the database structure and how this is going to work. Um, and rather just finished writing it down and combing out everything, and then eventually I'm going to make it public. I want to finish polished paper first. But anyways, so that's kind of my take on sports. I love them. They're fun. Who doesn't love? Like, it's just a good competition, and a good cooperative competition. It's fantastic. So I'm gonna go. I think the halftime's almost over. So go Croatia, and yeah. Talk to you later. Bye.